My name is Karim. Some of you already know me. I've been working with Black Dagger for a while, and they invite me every once in a while to share my adventure with you guys. Like you already know, I climbed Mount Everest in 2011, and I was I was in I was the second active duty military and the first enlisted to summit Mount Everest. The first one was a good friend of mine. He did it the year before I did. And actually this year, right now, as we speak, there is a group from the Air Force. They're trying to summit. Hopefully they do it. But it's a great experience. Something I want to share with you is that my climb for me, was more special than any other climb that I have done, besides because it was the tallest mountain in the world, was because I was carrying a flag from the post 9/11 Foundation. That was one of the 5 flags that was raised on the debris of 9/11, the day after the towers were taken down. I don't know if you remember the picture of the flag being flown on the debris. They took that flag down and they raised 5 more flags. So I had one of those flags taken to the top of the world, celebrating basically the 10th anniversary of those heroes passing away. It's something that I'll take with me, and I always repeat it because I don't want anybody to forget that. I was not only the 3,000 Americans that died that day, is the other 5,000 to 6,000 that have died since then in the war, our brothers in arms. I've been in Afghanistan, I've been in Colombia, and many other places. And I tell you, for my accent, I didn't grow up in the United States. I'm originally from the Dominican Republic. But I tell you, there is no better country in the world than the United States of America. And we, the people that live here and never go out, take that for granted. I've been lucky enough that I visit probably over 35 countries. And I live and spend time in other countries. And believe me, there is no other country like us. And unfortunately, a lot of people forget. And a lot of people think that that's no big deal. It is a big deal. And if we lose this, there's nowhere to go. Mount Everest, people think, this guy's crazy. Go to, 29,035 feet. That's the altitude of Mount Everest. 8,850 meter high. I dreamed about Mount Everest when I was 13 years old. And I told my mother, hey mom, I'm gonna climb Mount Everest at 13. And she was like, I don't remember what she said, but I remember she like pushed me away. Hey, just go to your room or something. Took me 30 years from the day that I said I'm gonna climb Mount Everest to do it, but I did it. It was an amazing experience. That wasn't my first mountain. I did other mountains. I climbed Kilimanjaro, Mount Kenya. It's a very technical climb, very pretty climb in Kenya. Aconcagua in Argentina. I climbed Pisco in Peru. It's not a drink, it's a mountain, Pisco. There's another mountain, Rahu. That mountain was my first high altitude mountain that I climbed solo. I went by myself solo. I don't recommend that, but that was an amazing experience. I really don't want to do it again, but it was an amazing experience. Rahu was tough, especially at the end, because there was an ice face, and I was by myself. I have no rope. There was 2 other climbers. I just found them in the trail and in the mountain. We slept at the last camp, at the high camp. We slept there. Then they took off and I took after them. But the last part was I wasn't afraid. I was tense. Let's put it that way. There was a probably good, pretty close to 60-degree incline, ice, and you're just going with crampons and your piolet. And then after that, I did Denali or Mount McKinley. Took me 2 tries to do that one. The first try, we were trapped at high camp for 7 days in a storm. So I spent 7 days with a man in a tent, like 3 by 2. And our team was, we have 4 tents, and every day one tent was in charge of heat the water. All the food was based on water. We have dehydrated food, so each tent did it 1 day, 2 days, except for us. We were the last tent, so at the 8th day, the sun come out. So by the end of those 7 days, we have to pack up and head home. But that don't mean the mountain beat us. Just like in life, doesn't mean that one thing that happened just gonna beat you. You need to continue and fighting, and that's what we see, and that's what it's so amazing to work with Black Dagger, because we work with a lot of wounded warriors like he did here. And I mean, something happened, okay, but that don't mean you are down. You're just down for the moment. I never forget this song when I came in the army. It was I get knocked down, but I get up again. And that just stayed in my mind, in my head for 20 plus years. So doing a mountain is just like life in general. You have your highs and your ups, but you always need to keep focused on your goal. The military, we are the same. Every operation we do, we have a goal, and we lose some guys along the way, but we reach our goal, and that's what makes us different to everybody else in the world. That's what makes us the greatest nation, actually. So let's talk about Everest a little bit. Everest was climbed the first time 29 May 53. So in 20 plus days, it's going to be the 60th anniversary of the summit of Mount Everest. Sir Edmund Hillary and a Sherpa Tenzin Norgay was the first guy to get there. Up to date, there's been over 4,100 something summits. No climbers, summits. Because there's some climbers have done it several times. The record is one Sherpa have 14 summits, or yeah, getting out there. But it's actually been close to 3,200 climbers have get to the summit of Mount Everest. Only 300 females have done it, and a lot of guys and gals haven't come back. Last year, there was the second deadly season in Everest. The deadliest season ever, and everybody I think heard, was 1996. They wrote a book in Thin Air about that. There was about 18 climbers die. Last season were 16. And the year I went was 2011, 2 years ago. There's only 6 dead. So by book, that was a good year. Hopefully this is also a good year. So far, the mountain's been quiet. The mountain's been climbed from Nepal and from Tibet. Tibet, China. So people trying to stay away from Tibet because Chinese, they can decide one day, hey, we're gonna close it, and people are already there committed. So they're trying to avoid Tibet and go through Nepal. The expedition took 2 months from the time I left to the time I come back. 2 months. And take that long because you basically taking your body from enriched oxygen atmosphere to almost no oxygen atmosphere. So you have to go slow, going up slow. At the end, you use oxygen, but the body can acclimatize up to 7,300 meters. You can summit Everest without oxygen. Yeah, there are about 23 people that have done it, but they're kind of crazy, because when you are above 8,000, when you are above 8,000 meters, the amount of oxygen on the air is not enough to regenerate your cells. So you're actually dying. I mean, we're talking at 8,000 meters, but your body is dying. And especially the neurons, they don't regenerate. So if you lose them, you lose them. So I need all the brain cells that I need. And I don't even try that. Because every other cell, you know, the skin, every other cell you regenerate, but not the brain cells. So you acclimatize. You go up and down basically in the mountain. Take 10 days to get you from to base camp at 5,000 meters, because that's where you're gonna live. If we go right now to base camp, we last probably 40 minutes, 45 minutes, and we pass out and maybe die. If we go right now to the summit of Mount Everest, we last 2 minutes and we die. Oh, seriously. So we took 10 days walking slow, you know, stopping a day or two to go from 2,000 meters to 5,000 meters. That's the base camp. Then from base camp, we did 3 acclimatization climbs. We went to 6,000 meters, came back down to base camp, refeed, eat, shower. Then we did another climb to 6,500 meters, do the same, come back down, eat. And we did the last acclimatization was at 7,400 meters without oxygen. That's camp 3 in the famous Lhotse phase. And then after you finish that, you come back to base camp, and then you're ready to do the summit bit. So basically you go up and down 4 times. So the final time you go up to camp 3, and at camp 3 you put oxygen, and then 2 days later you are standing on the summit of Mount Everest. So sounds easy, right? Oh, great. But there are several areas where they are very dangerous, hard, you name it. Especially right after you get out base camp. So base camp is really nice. I mean, you have over 1,000 people in base camp, but really there's only 200 plus summiters. Some people get to base camp and they see that mountain right there. The first thing you see at base camp is the famous Khumbu Icefall. It's the most dangerous place in Everest. And about 10% of the climbers turn around. They spend thousands of dollars and they spend amount of time training, and when they get there, they turn around. Then you have all the people get injured climbing, go back and forth, and also you have the people get sick. When you get sick over there, take probably 2 weeks to recover, just because the amount of oxygen. Actually, we have one guy get sick in my group. He had to go down like 3 days, walk 3 days down to get a lower altitude to recover. Some guys get gases and they don't heal until they leave the mountain because there's no oxygen there. And then you also have the accidents and you have the weather. All that just they're against you. But hey, when I went there, my mind was like, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna get to the top. That's my goal. Couple moments were very, very difficult for the whole group. We lost one guy just above camp 2. He passed out. He died. So they lowered his body and they put 2 tents beside my tent. There was my tent, another tent, and his body was in the following tent. I was there for a couple days, and I was in camp 2. That was just a reality check right there. Um, the helicopter picked him up. There were several other deaths during my time. But the most, I would say the most hard to see was when I got to Camp 4. Is the high camp. It's called the death zone. I explained because there's not enough oxygen. When I got to high camp, the first thing I see was a body was being bringing down. So that was a Japanese guy. He died May 13, 2011. Originally, I was gonna summit on May 19th. On May 15th. But May 14th, the group in front of me belonged to us, to our expedition. They got caught in a storm. And we're in Camp 3 ready to go. We're ready to go. It's like when you go to combat, you're psyched. Okay, let's do it. So we're the same way. We're ready to go. So we're hearing the radio, a lot of noise, a lot of traffic. And when they start calling rescue, like the dogs, our ears just. The group in front of us had to be rescued. They found about 75 miles per hour wind at the summit. Temperature, normally they are minus 40. During the day, they just go, they just climb up to minus 20. But with that wind, you're talking about minus 60 plus. So the first thing we heard was one of the guys lost his vision. Grant is an Australian climber. Grant is blind. Oh, that just created an emergency situation. So all the Sherpas in Camp 3 and Camp 4, they just get ready to be part of the rescue. So the climbers who were in Camp 3, they told us to come back down to Camp 2. That was very hard. That's probably the hardest part of my climb. I have to come down after I was in Camp 3, psyched to go to the summit. Thank God, everybody survived. There were 3 guys who lost their vision, but they recovered the vision later on. And Grant, the Australian, he lost 2 toes and 1 finger. We were in Camp 2 receiving them to help him out. I remember I took his right boot, and I saw all his toes were black and blistered. I thought he's gonna lose the whole foot. But he have a really good insurance. There was a really. There was a. By the time he get to Kathmandu, there was a private ambulance plane and a private doctor waiting for him. His insurance paid for that, I guess.
Who was his insurance?
Obamacare.
Yeah, man, don't spoil the moment. But we just received an email from him last year that he's back and he's gonna continue climbing. So that was a good ending. Not for others. But that's the life. That's life in the mountain. That's life at home, and that's life in the military. And when I climb mountains, I do for something. I try to dedicate that climb to something bigger than the desire to climb mountains. When I went to Denali and I summit Denali the second time that I went, I summit, was with a group from Stockholm. And I climbed in name of a good friend of mine, Tom Mahalik. We were team sergeants together. He was 762 team sergeant. I was 741. In the first deployment to Afghanistan, my team was called back. That was in 2006. And my team was sent to Colombia. And when I got to Colombia, I got to Colombia, I got to the hotel, I got a phone call that Tom passed away. So my climb to McKinley or Denali, my summit in 2009 was on his name. Was in his name. So that made the climb really special. And I have a seal with me. He also climbed for a friend of a buddy of him. So everything we do, or at least everything I try to do, is for a reason. And like we are here right now, is celebrating how great we are as a nation. We have Korean era, we have Vietnam era, and then we have Afghan and Iraq era. When we do something, some people think that, oh, I'm the greatest because I did it, and I don't think so. It's like in combat. When we go and we have a successful mission, it's not us. I mean, we're part of, but there is a lot of people in the background that help you to get there. You know, there's a lot of people in the background that help you to be what you are, and sometimes we just forget to say thanks. So that's why we are here. We are here to thank you guys for being the trailblazer that you have been to the military. We're here to thank ED for the sacrifices you've been going. And don't forget that. And tell your friends, tell your family that, hey, yeah, we are military now. Yeah, they're really good. They have nice uniforms. They have nice weapons. But there will not be that military right now without you guys. So we always need to think back. And I take my hat to you, and please join me with that.